Hello, 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 everybody. I want to thank you for joining me for this live. I had to jump on because we got some discrepancies in the sales of Jada Pinkett Smith's book, Worthy. Some people got that report about the New York Times bestseller list, and they think that Jada Pinkett Smith's book is just flying off the shelves, and that's not true. And that's not hard for a lot of people to believe because Jada is not really popular right now. I put this article up behind me, and it says Jada Pinkett Smith's memoir is a flop. This is coming from Newsweek, people. This was dated November 24th. October 24th. I can't totally see it right now. Yeah, it's kind of far from me, but it's either the 24th or the 26th. And this is just one news outlet. I have reports from the Daily Mail, some independent news resources. And right now, she is on the New York Times bestseller she's at third place right now. She's supposedly have moved up the ranks. On their website, I can't see where she started from when she released her book on the 17th, but they have some funny accounting. Let me go to this next frame from about her sales. And I don't wish nothing bad on Jada. Jada has a soft spot in my heart. I actually don't really understand why she's even doing a book right now. She knows Jada's not stupid. She knows that she is not a popular woman, and she didn't really particularly use this book to set the record straight about any of the recent news that, has people coming at her and has her so unpopular right now. So it kind of like doesn't really make a lot of sense. My God, is this? Well, since I can't get to that right now, let me just show you something real quick about the New York Times, how they do their ranking system. This is just a short video, so I'm gonna let it go around. Let me start playing it.
Why does it feel like every book you hear about is a New York Times bestseller? They can't all be bestsellers, right? The word best is reserved for one individual thing. While surprise, surprise, the name is very misleading. The New York Times ranks books in a lot of different categories: nonfiction, children's books, middle school books, biographies, how-tos, ebooks, and they even distinguish between hardcovers and paperbacks because, that totally makes a lot of difference. Lots of lists means less competition in each specific genre, which means books can make it onto the bottom of one of those lists with as little as 10,000 total sales. The authors get to call their book a bestseller, and the New York Times gets to be the de facto authority on book ranking, which means that they make a lot of money from people purchasing books from the affiliate links on their website. A New York Times decent seller in one very specific genre just doesn't have the same ring to it. Why does...
Okay, so you saw that. New York Times, they have their way of ranking things, just like, I hate to say it, some of these social media platforms. Y'all heard about people buying followers and whatnot, and you're talking about a family of means. Now, Jada does have a lot of supporters. I'm a supporter of Jada. I'm rooting for her, but I have to admit she's made some strange, not good moves in the last years, the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's just, I don't know if she's taking a temporary leave of her senses, but Jada was like, she belongs to an elite class of celebrities, even though it's mostly because of the work of her husband. But Jada is, she's a performing artist. She's an entertainer, musician, actress. The woman has a resume. So for her to get to this, I've even watched shows of Oprah having them on as a family, just praising them and just the beauty of the family. And I have too. So to see her in this phase of life and then be losing popularity like this ain't cool. But let me get to the numbers, because people, man, I guess, I could take a little hate, but people thinking I'm just making up stuff. And I can understand the confusion. So let me go to this next slide. So you see that was Newsweek. Now we're at the New York Times. I just took this frame to show you that this is the New York Times website. And you can see here, this is ending the week ending October 29th. And you see who's in place, place 1, 2, and 3. This is ending October 29th. Go to the next frame. You see just a little bit further down, New York Times is not on the top because I moved the shot down, but that's places 1 through 5, right? So now I'm going to go to the next frame and show you this is the week ending October 22nd. So this would be the week that Jada's book came out. This is places 1 through 5. Okay, I'm going to go to the next frame. You see she's not there. This is further down the page, week ending October 22nd. Remember, her book debuted October 17th. Now, when does Jada appear? She appears, this is still the New York Times, she appears on the week ending November 5th. So it makes a little note there and says that she rose up on the charts. But the news that I saw says that she debuted at number 3. That's why I think there's something going on with how they treated her case. Now, this is the ranking for a hardcover. Excuse me. They also have a category that's mixed for audiobooks and hardcovers. But on all these other book lists like Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, I have a review from Amazon. Theirs is mixed, and Jada has come out the box with her book already at a discount. Most every place I see her book being sold, it's at a 30 to 50% discount. Amazon has their Audible at like a 75% discount. But Amazon does stuff like that. So I don't know if it's necessarily because of her book or they think they can't move it. But across all of these platforms that sell books, to just come out the box at 30 to 50% off, it shows that it's not moving. I don't wish this on Jada, and she's going to be fine however this goes, because come on, they're not going to miss no meals over there in the Smith household or not be able to go on those shopping trips. No, they have a whole nother life. And that is why it kind of like doesn't make sense to me, but people think I'm hating it. I don't want to make this all about me. Let me just read something from, no, let me not do that just yet. I'm going to show you something else while I'm reading. This is from Newsweek. I'm just going to play it. They didn't have audio. You know, some of these news organizations, they put up stuff and it's just like rock music playing. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, sorry about that. I'll start it over. Okay, look, I'm gonna start it over again. I'll just read it. Despite some eyebrow-raising, hair-raising admissions and major news interviews, Pinkett Smith released her autobiography, Worthy, on October 17th, but the book is making little impact on multiple bestsellers lists. On Amazon Books, the world's most popular book-selling site, according to Statista, Worthy site. So I can't even read that fast. I can't. So I'll just let that go around. Y'all check it out, and I'm gonna read you something else. This is from an independent news site. I'm going to do that in just a second. And I'm going to let you read this. Okay, now let me get to these comments. This is from an independent news source. This is what readers are saying, people that have listened to the Audible and checked out the book. Neighbors, get into this. Seems like that talking Jada Pinkett Smith was doing during her book press run didn't pay off at all. Critics are calling her book a flop due to its lack of charting across multiple book websites. That's what this independent news source had to say. Then they go on with another quote. Newsweek claims that Jada's memoir Worthy hasn't done as well as expected since its October 17th release on Amazon Books, the world's most popular book-selling site. Y'all get stuff from Amazon. But you got to realize that Amazon, I don't think a lot of people realize this. Amazon started selling books in the first place. That's all Amazon ever used to do. It's hard to believe because now we get everything. You get food from Amazon. You can get boats from Amazon. But Amazon was only Amazon Books. So Amazon is still the premier place to get books. And so they're saying Newsweek claims that Jada's memoir Worthy hasn't done as well as expected since its October 17th release on Amazon Books, the world's most popular book-selling site. According to Statista, Worthy sits at number 81 on its bestseller list. It failed to make the top 100 on the Kindle e-reader chart, where it had only sold 2,700 copies by the end of last week. Over on Barnes & Nobles, they have their own bestseller list too. And the Publisher Weekly list, Worthy has not cracked the top 100. So I'm talking about this. I am not celebrating that she didn't hit these numbers, but people are, I don't know how they came up with this news that it's on the New York Times bestseller list, but it did not debut. And to be at number 3 in the week ending November 5th, and it just seems like they scooted her up there. So again, I'm rooting for Jada. I have a clip of her audio. I don't want to play that because I got a copyright flag for some other stuff, but Jada has given so much information in the first place. I mean, isn't that what the Red Table Talk was all about? They gave up a lot of good pearls on there, especially when it comes to overcoming addiction and all that. And this book is not, people are not feeling the book. They don't feel like they've learned anything different. I've read the reviews. So anybody out there checking out this video saying I'm making up news, I'm not making up news. Ain't nobody after no clout. Come on. Let me get this going again, and I'm going to read you another article. This one from the Daily Mail. Okay. She left her fans and critics with their jaws on the floor when she revealed that she and her husband, Will Smith, had separated and have been living apart for 7 years, despite presenting the image of the happily married couple. But now Jada Pinkett Smith's new memoir, Worthy, in which she shared the status of her marriage and numerous other revelations, appears to be performing poorly on some major booksellers lists. And a lot of the reason for that is, I had to stop. People consider Jada a liar. Now, I can't even feel really sensitive about people calling me a lie for saying that the book is a flop. I'm not using flop because I want to say that it's a flop. I'm using flop because that is the language people understand. And you see that Newsweek, if I could just go back to Newsweek, they said that is the language that they use, that it's a flop. So nobody's trying to hate on Jada, but she's not particularly popular right now. The 52-year-old actress released the book on October 17th, and it managed to nab the number 3 spot on Amazon's chart for the week of October 22nd, which lists the top 20 most sold and read books of the week. She finished just behind Britney Spears' even buzzier memoir, The Woman in Me, and David Grant's Killers of the Flower Moon, some crazy stuff, which returned to the top of the chart. So these books go up and down the charts. I'm just going to skip over that. But on today's main bestseller list at Amazon, Worthy, that's Jada's book, had plummeted to just number 81 as of Tuesday. So for a lot of people, just making a book and getting it even being talked about by Amazon or New York Times bestseller list, that would be a huge victory. I know if I wrote a book and they were talking about me, it would be something. But Jada belongs to an elite class of celebrities. You don't chart like no regular hobby rookie author. This is a whole nother level with a whole promotional machine. If I wrote a book, no one's going to invite me on the Today Show. Oprah's not going to talk to me. This is Jada Pinkett Smith from the Smith clan. You don't do these kind of numbers. I personally am interested in hearing about the book, but I also know that Jada, her popularity, it's just plummeted. And I don't know why the woman doesn't take a break from being in the headlines, why she I guess it's because she just wants to entertain. And, her mental health, that's something that she talks about in the book. So hey, I have a soft spot for her. Prayers go out to her. This is some parts of her book. And people, I don't know why I'm even sensitive, because people like right here, she called herself a queen. Is people online, big name commentators in sports and everything, that are coming at Jada for her jugular, for calling herself a queen, and for the way they perceive that she treats Will. Now, I think Will, we don't know what he does because Will is much more smooth. But Jada, her stuff got sloppy. And I think behind the scenes, Will has even talked to her, especially with August Alsina. That is what I originally wanted to talk about, because I think that underneath it all, this is one of the most huge underlying factors is what happened in that relationship with August Alsina and how fragile that young man was. And of course, the lies, or how she stretches or embellishes the truth. That's what I wanted to talk about, because I know with me, that kept me from really tuning into the Red Table, because I'm just like, Jada, you're not being authentic. I don't know what it's about. And then to find out that she got into an entanglement with this fragile man that has so many issues. Physical health issues, mental health issues, issues of abuse, and he's 20 years younger than her. If you want to get with a cougar, or a young woman wants to get with a man that's older than her, you're old enough, it's cool. But when you're fragile, that's not cool for an older woman to just, it's just not cool. And that's what I was talking about. But of course, her putting this book out and the unpopularity and the supposed flop of the book, that's got to be part of the discussion. Again, it's nothing that I celebrate, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. I ain't making up no news. And I guess no matter how much you talk to people, they still going to find a reason to hate you. And I can say that I have disappointment in some of the decisions that Jada's made, but I don't hate her. I'm not trying to drag her, but it's just not cool. If Will had done the same thing, if Will Smith had done the same thing with some, not underage girl, but a girl 20 years his junior that's all fragile with all of these issues, we would rip him. We'd never get through. He would lose everything. He would not even be, just like what happened to him. He slapped Chris, which I don't think is Jada's fault. But it's just like, nah, everybody kicked Will to the curb. But I think Will is one of those that has a career that is got like Teflon coating on it. Will is going to be all right. And, them and they brand, people just don't find her authentic. And I have an idea how she can get past, all the lies she told, all this stretching of the truth, even her going on talking about Tupac wanted to marry her. And her whole thing, she says she's a sex addict, and I still think she has some sex addict tendencies, talking about her vaginal rejuvenation stuff and talking about people that wanted to marry her. Even if Chris Rock did want to date you, what's the point of talking about that as as a supreme queen of a woman that you're supposed to be? Why even mention that? Why? It makes no sense. This is the stuff Jada does that she would have never done before. Jada wasn't making these kind of moves in the early 2000s and in the 90s. She just wasn't moving this way. I don't know if it's because she has this kind of freedom that she knows she has. We're looking at her as Jada Pinkett Smith, but she's moving like a single woman. And that's probably because, in theory, she is a single woman because she's been living apart from Will. But Will is able to keep his stuff on lockdown. And Jada's stuff is just flying around all sloppy. Y'all know Will talked to her behind the scenes because Will is about his brand. You know what? I'm going to read to you what they said about Will's book. Let me get to Will's book because Will put out a book and Amazon puts out their own description of the book. I'm going to save you the trouble of going to that. I got to get to the right spot. Here we go. This is what Amazon says about Will. One of the most dynamic and globally recognized entertainment forces of our times opens up fully about his life in a brave and inspiring book that traces his learning curve to a place where outer success, inner happiness, and human connection are aligned. Along the way, Will tells the story in full, one of the most amazing rides through the worlds of music and film that anyone has ever had. Will Smith's transformation from a West Philadelphia kid to one of the biggest rap stars of his era and then one of the biggest movie stars in Hollywood history is an epic tale, but it's only half the story. Scroll down. Why'd that happen? Will Smith thought Will Smith thought with good reason that he had won at life. Not only was his own success was unparalleled, his whole family was at the pinnacle of the entertainment world. Only they didn't see it that way. They felt more like star performers in his circus, a 7-day-a-week job that they hadn't signed up for. It turned out Will Smith's education wasn't nearly over yet. Okay, this memoir is the product of a profound journey of self-knowledge, a reckoning with all that you can be and what you leave behind. Written with the help of Mark Manson, author of a multi-million-dollar copy of the bestseller. So I'm getting to whatever's relevant. Few of us know the pressure of performing on the world's greatest stages for the highest of stakes. But we can all understand that the fuel that works for one stage of our journey may have to be changed if we want to make it all the way home. The combination of genuine wisdom, of universal value, and a life story that is preposterously entertaining, even astonishing, puts Will the book like its author in a category by itself. That is what Amazon had to say about Will. And since I did that, let me read Amazon's description about Jada. I went through so many emotions reading this book, reconnecting to one's ancestors and truly feeling not only hearing their stories are fertile ground for a true ecstatic embodiment of the self. We have to know where we've been to see where we're going. Oh, sorry, that was Will Smith. Okay, let me get to Jada. Sorry about that. This is a lie. I got a little bit of time. Jada Pinkett Smith was living what many would view as a fairy tale of Hollywood success, but appearances can be deceiving. And as she felt more and more separated from her sense of self, Emotional turmoil took hold, sparing no detail. Worthy chronicles her life from a rebellious youth running the Baltimore streets as an observer and participant in the drug trade, to the deep bond she shared with Tupac Shakur from the moment they met, to her move to Los Angeles and the successful career she built on her own terms, to becoming the wife of a superstar Will Smith and mother to Jaden Willow and bonus mom to Trey. A roller coaster from the depths of suicidal depression to the heights of self acceptance and spiritual healing. Worthy is a woman's journey to finding herself again. In a media driven landscape that crafts narratives for our celebrities, Smith shares herself in an intimate conversation with readers. She answers questions about her difficult childhood, her marriage, her parenting style, her career choices, and the intense scrutiny that followed the slap. An impactful and rare memoir that engages and educates. Worthy shows why adhering to the status quo has never been the plan for Jada Pinkett Smith, and why labels and stories crafted by others strip women of their authenticity. Worthy teaches us who Jada is and how to embrace our most lovable qualities, complete with thought-provoking writing, prompts, and meditations on how to discover who we really are and nourish our self-worth. So when did that... It all sounds good. It all sounds good. And I've always looked at Jada as that woman back in the day. And I'm sure she's always carrying that regal part of herself with her. But she still has a dysfunctional side, and that dysfunctional side has taken over in a lot of ways. She can still get in front of the camera and wow us. The woman is gorgeous. Every time I see her, it's like she has no bad day, with hair, without hair. But behind the scenes, she has some stuff going on, and nothing, I could overlook everything except that August Alsina thing. It's like, girl, you need to that's almost a crime that happened, really. And the red table was her place and her space to put it all out there. If she wanted to be really, really transparent, she could have did that then. She even had August Alsina on the Red Table Talk while she's in the midst of this affair. And this is why people find her unauthentic, and this is leading to her unpopularity, and that's why these book sales have not been what they should have been for an A-list celebrity like she is. Maybe she's not the one that's always working, always getting the calls for movies, but because she has played the role and she was his wife, she still is Will Smith's wife, she can walk through any door and make stuff happen in Hollywood. She can. She still can. I just think I don't want to give Jada advice. Jada's gonna be all right no matter what. This video is really just about the numbers, but the numbers have so much to do with the moves that Jada's been making. And I'm gonna wrap this up. If you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. You'll get fireworks and stuff. And please like, share, and subscribe. I do cover other stories. I'm not the one trying to drag people unless you have committed heinous crimes against humanity and against the vulnerable. And actually, I could drag Jada for that, but I wouldn't drag her. I just think Jada has temporarily taken a leave of her senses. Y'all can check out my other video that I posted just yesterday where August is in that interview and he is just talking about the aftermath of his relationship with Jada. He was not even meaning to talk about that. That was like a whole hour-long interview, but I just took 5 minutes from it. But the copyright claim still got mad at me. Y'all should check that out. It's so heartbreaking. I heard it when it happened live, and all these years later, it just hurts me that he went through this with Jada. I could see how she could have found the young man beautiful and wise beyond his years, but there's no way to overlook the fragility of this man. This man was fragile. He was needy. He looked at Jada like auntie. And I just don't see how you can pull a little boy like that into your bedroom when he's in that kind of, I don't care what kind of candy he got in his pants. I'm talking like that. Hey, I've seen some young tenders that, but a fragile one, I guess when you're 18, anything goes, and definitely when you're over 20, but a fragile person, no, it's just not good. But the numbers, the moves Jada has made, the numbers of the book sales have translated into that. I think in the end, curious minds are going to want to read that book or at least listen to the Audible. I think tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to put up a little bit of the audio. She's reading in her own voice. It's very interesting, but a lot of people find it boring. I could read some other headlines. I just don't, I don't want to be guilty of the same thing, boring y'all. But people are just saying that the book is reading like a movie, like they're drawing you into scenes, like just really, really scripted. And it's not like Jada's exposing herself. I don't think Jada's going to really expose herself to nobody. Because if she wanted to, she would just fess up to the things that she's done and apologize for them. Like really give a heartfelt apology. Maybe she's done that behind the scenes. But what she's purporting that she wants to do for the fans and for the public, she's not doing that. Jada is, hey, she's doing it the way she want to do it, and she has every right to do it. And she's not going to suffer if this book don't work. I don't think nobody in that family have to work another day in their life. No. Even with all their mansions, even with the property taxes, I think they ain't gonna miss no shopping trips. They ain't gonna miss no meals. They ain't gonna miss no vacations, no spa treatments, nothing. So I ain't trying to be like overly invested in Jada's life, but at the end of the day, she's just a woman, and I hope that she finds her way back to her center, and that everybody that's interested in looking at her book checks it out. And I hope you check out the other stuff on my channel. I appreciate y'all for joining me. I'll see y'all real soon. Keep living your life like it's golden. Peace.